Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
This episode is brought to you by Bumble. So, you want to find someone you're compatible with, specifically someone who's ready for a serious connection, totally open to having kids in the future, is a tall, rock-climbing Libra, and loves rom-coms with vegan pizzas on Tuesdays just as much as you do. Bumble knows that you know exactly what's right for you. So whatever it is you're looking for, Bumble's features can help you find it. Date now on Bumble.
Ooh, hey man, I really like this painting, man. It's just that the colors are a little bit loud, man. Maybe you could just, turn them down a bit.
I'm glad you like the painting, but did you say turn down the colors?
Yeah, man, they're a little bit loud, man, and they're kind of hurting my eyes, man. So just turn them down a little bit.
Turn them down? Turn them down for what?
Hey, man, no disrespect, brother. Just, man, I need something a little bit more calm for my apartment, man, for when I'm, chilling out. So, yeah, just, maybe turn them down a little bit.
Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. Maybe, here, come here. Get a little bit closer.
Oh, okay, man. 1 second.
Are you closer?
Yeah, man, I'm right here.
Okay, good. So then, all I have to say to you is...
Okay, man. On second thought, brother, I like it just the way it is, man. I'll take it like that.
Good. That's what I thought you said.
Ah, creepy. I always love it when Mumford gets a little creepy and then the thunder rolling through there. Yeah, turn down for what? Little shout out to DJ Snake and Lil Jon. Yeah, I don't really know that song, but I just thought it would be funny. I actually watched the video for that song for the first time, and it's just crazy. I was actually laughing out loud. So if you haven't seen that, check it out on YouTube. I will say parental guidance is needed. It's a little bit... it's a little bit X-rated. Well, not X-rated, but it's fun. I was laughing my ass off. But back to the podcast. What was the intro about? This really isn't about forcing your collectors to just buy your art the way it is. It's really more about listening to your own intuition as an artist. And that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. And we've talked about intuition in the past, but I want to talk about intuition in a sense of really being able to hone that skill so you can kind of decipher what is bullshit and what's real, what people are telling you is real, what resonates for you. Maybe something is real in general, but it's not real for you. It's like when you go into a doctor's office, right? And you break an ankle or something it's going to take you, 6 to 8 weeks to heal this. Well, what are they saying when they say that? They're really just taking that off of the general data and their own experience. It has on average taken a person 6 to 8 weeks to heal this. I'm making up those numbers, by the way. But in this scenario, it's taken 6 to 8 weeks in general for somebody to heal. But that doesn't mean it's going to take you 6 to 8 weeks to heal. That just means general. Just like when they're talking about, the RDA for something or the recommended daily allowance or a health reference range in the health world, it's kind of taken off of a sick population. So you might be in a normal range, but you are not actually optimal if you're in the normal range, not necessarily. So it's all different for you. And that's why I'm saying like we should be really focusing on honing our intuition to kind of feel what is right and what's optimal for us. So the first part is just kind of a funny story, and I just wanted to kind of set up something so I could scream, turn down for what?
Turn down for what?
It's fun. It gets out a little bit of aggression. So, have some fun with that. But we're kind of bombarded as artists and as people nowadays, just anybody really, like influencers galore online telling us what to do, what not to do, what's the best way to do this, what's the best hack for this, what you need to do. They're screaming in our face. They're telling us, this is the only way you can do this, or you have to avoid this for your health, or the one thing that you didn't know about that you must avoid or you must try, or you get the picture here. Even like me, if I'm saying something, I try my best to not be didactic with what I'm saying and be like, oh, you must do this if you want to be an artist. You have to follow the exact path that I've taken to be an artist. Hey, man, to each his own. To each his own. I mean, really, it is up to us to decipher and to kind of comb through all of the noise out there and go, does this really resonate with me? And I would also like to enhance this by saying, you need to learn how to like follow your joy a little bit. It doesn't mean that you just do whatever the hell makes you just like blissfully joyful all the time. I mean, you have to pay bills and, you have to show up and do work and earn a living and do all these things. But like, you can find the most joyful way to do that. And the thing that is the most honest, authentic way to be joyful in whatever you do. Even in a job, if you hate your job, you can find a way to show up for that job and do it with your highest intuition and with the most joy and with the thing that rings the most true and authentic to you. I always tried to do that when I was waiting tables. And actually, when I made my peace with that, I was like at my best, and I really didn't end up waiting tables much longer after that. It all snapped into place. But I'm going to give you another example of this to kind of, bring it home a little bit. I'm a big health enthusiast, as you probably know, and I listen to a lot of biohacking stuff, a lot of science, a lot of health and wellness stuff. And I consider myself pretty up on all the latest trends and latest science and latest health developments. And I listen to people like, well, for example, Mark Hyman is one of the people that I like a lot. And he's a great functional medicine doctor. And actually the tests that I just took were of his company Function Health. So I'm waiting to get the results back from that. But I listen to a lot of this stuff. And even though I'll agree with like 90% of what he's saying, there are some things that I'm like, that one doesn't really ring true to me. It's something that I've learned through trial and error and educating myself enough to the point where I know what's right for me and I know what's right for my body. So I can really listen to somebody 100%, be like, oh yeah, this is great, this is great, this is great. Oh, no, not going to do that. Or, oh, I'll tweak this a little bit to fit my lifestyle. Or this one doesn't ring true to me. And that's just a skill that you can develop by listening to your intuition and becoming more practiced at whatever you do. And it's just really a cautionary thing to not really have gurus in your life that you have to just listen to 100%. Everything they say is law. That's almost like a cult, That's cult status. So even though I want you to listen in and enjoy and learn from some of the things that I'm saying on the podcast, I don't think everything I'm saying is right for everybody out there. Not only is it not right for everybody out there, it's that some things are not right for each person. They might be right for 9 out of 10 people, but you might be that one 10% that's like, oh no, that doesn't work for me for X number of reasons. So that's what I really want to underscore today, along with like kind of following your joy and following your intuition, is how can we be our most authentic self and, follow a path that rings the truest to us and, do something that lights us up and turns us on all the time. Because really that's what we're doing. We have this one life and this one artistic career. Of course, unless you believe in reincarnation, but you might not be an artist in your next life. So let's just assume we have this one artistic life right now. And how do you make the most of that? Well, I think there's a lot of times, like when I find that I'm getting off track, it's when the path becomes a bit too prescriptive. Like I start following into a rut where I'm like doing the same thing. I'm getting on social media because this is what I've found works for me. I'm listening to people who are telling me to do something a certain way, and I start just doing it, and then it becomes stale or it becomes kind of like anxiety inducing. Have you ever had that feeling where you get online or you get on social media and all of a sudden you just feel like crap or you feel anxiety out of nowhere? Sure, that could be something going on in your biology, but a lot of people are experiencing anxiety when they try to promote themselves or get on social media. And I'm here to say, I don't think you have to be anxious to be on social media. Like, I think there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, social media is ruining our lives. It's ruining our mind. Yeah, I'm sure it is ruining us to an extent, but there's a better way to do it. There's a way you can do it that's balanced like anything else. If you use social media as a tool and you get on there and you have the right mindset and you follow your own instinctive path and you kind of do your thing in a unique way that turns you on and lights you up, then you kind of follow some people and like some people's stuff, but you do it in a balanced way that doesn't get too overbearing on your psyche. I think that's a healthy way to use social media. It's always when you start to get in and you let these voices, these bubbles, even like the political bubbles on social media, when they get into your head too much and you start listening to this fitness person and this influencer and this political bubble and blah, 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 and they're all telling you what to do. And you have to do this, and this is what's going on in the world. The world's going to, that's when things start to become a little bit heavy and you start to get a little bit bogged down. Our intuition and our bullshit antennas have to be high when we're on social media. And if something just doesn't feel good to you, if it doesn't feel right to you in the moment, okay, take a break. Or, change to something else. Or maybe you switch to a different social media app for a little while. Or maybe you take a break from social media for a while if that feels right to you. That is what I'm talking about as far as following your joy and following your intuition. If you are feeling saturated, if you are feeling that anxiety every time you get onto social media, maybe you need to do a little bit of a phone detox for a while. Or maybe you need to do a little detox from an influencer who's, amping you up all the time, but maybe they're amping you up in a way that makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm not delivering. I'm not showing up enough. That can be a little unhealthy as well. Maybe you just need to take a little break. Maybe some of the things that people are telling you, for example, let's say maybe you're part of a gallery and there's a gallery owner that's telling you something about your work. That's like, well, you really need to, like, your pricing structure is a little off, or, I think if you painted a little bit more of this style that you'd work with here, I think you could sell more. I want to be clear that it's good to have mentors and it's good to have people in the know who are kind of helping you guide your career or structure your career. But at the same time, it all comes down to you. You are the deciding factor at the end. And if that doesn't feel right to you, because even a gallery can have its own agenda, or an art representative can have their own agenda of selling, or they can have their own hangups or their own perspective that's just wrong. And that can be from something that developed in childhood, something that they have this weird perspective of humanity or society, and that's bleeding into their work and their own opinions on your work and how you should be selling your work or not selling your work. And that's where intuition comes in again. Listen to them, take what you can get, be nice, be respectful, of course. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and you have to do what's right for you and your art. So I think one of the ways that you can hone this skill is by learning how to take a deep breath when you're in a moment. Don't react immediately when something happens or when somebody says something to you or when an influencer tells you something or a guru or whatever, whoever you're listening to, the news tells you something. Take a breath. Give it some space for a minute to see if it settles and rings true for you. Like once that's settled, once it's kind of gotten in and rattled around in your brain and you're have a conscious breath or two, then decide, does this sound right? Because I think a lot of people are so just like, they hear something and then they just act. They don't have that filter. So that breath acts as almost a filter for the BS. You take a breath, you take a step, you take a beat, you take, a moment, whatever you want to call it, and you let that settle for a second. And then you think about it. You go, is this true? Does this really ring true for me? Does this really apply to me like it applies to this person who's saying this or this entity that's saying this to me? And if it doesn't, okay, great, you have your answer, move on. If it doesn't feel right in your bones, if it doesn't feel right in your intuition, if it gives you anxiety, if it makes you feel just a little bit like, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, it's probably not for you. We can really use this in any format we want. And it can be extremely powerful. And, for me, I've been struggling, as you know, with some health stuff and navigating that. And a lot of that times it's like learning how to decipher who's giving you good information, who's not giving you good information. And sometimes, you get good information and for whatever reason, it's not hitting and you're still having a problem. Well, I have to specifically, take a beat and work on my mindset on how I'm processing this information, how my perspective might be affecting the way I'm dealing with something. You can use it for anything. You can use it for in a painting, quieting your inner critic who's telling you, like, oh no, your art is no good, or when you try this style, you're out of your element, you can't really handle this. This color scheme or this color palette has not worked for you in the past. Well, learn how to quiet that inner critic and take a breath again, take a beat, and just follow your instincts, follow your intuition. And I think you can surprise yourself a lot when you do stuff like this. And once you start doing that, it's like a muscle, like anything else. You start to get better at it. You start to get better at listening to your intuition. You start to get better at practicing following your joy and your intuition. And you just will get in a good state. And I think sometimes that is also, some people, like we've talked about in the past, might be in your life who are bringing you down from an energy standpoint. And it's okay to take a break from people too. It's okay to restructure your friends or like look for new things if it's not serving you. And that comes from also just taking a beat and stepping back and going like, why do I get anxiety every time I hang out with this person? Or, why is this person always like, why is it when I hang out with this person, I feel drained afterwards? Like they seem like they feel better and I seem like I feel worse. You need to sometimes reassess those things because the garbage you're putting into your body or whatever you're putting into your body and your mind is going to come out the other end and it's going to like gum up the works. So this is just an episode to really make you ponder how you are acting and how you're receiving information, how you are acting upon intuition, if you're listening to intuition, if you're following your joy and your bliss in the right way, not in the kind of corny way, but following an authentic path that's right for you. So I just want you to think about this a little bit. I want you to start, applying this whole taking a beat, taking a step, taking a conscious breath or two, and letting things sit and see if they resonate with you. I think that's very powerful. And I think just like anything else, you will get better and better at it. Here's to following our joy and our intuition and our own unique path that we can be constructing along the way. That's the beauty of this life and this art, is that we can shift and pivot whenever we want. We can make it as exciting as we want. We can make it as much of an adventure as we want, or we can make it as boring as we want. It's all in our hands. Yeah, I hope you take this and run with it. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will talk to you on the next episode. And of course, if someone's trying to get you to change your style or your approach or turn down your colors, like in the beginning, you have my blessing to say.
Hello, Mumford speaking. Wait. Hold up. Turn down. Oh, wait. The music's loud? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'll turn it down. Sorry about that.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.